Hey, this is Jason Mott. If you want your baseball news, listen to One Cardinal, One Cub, and One Beer with JJ and Vince.
Welcome to One Cardinal, One Cub, and One Beer, or should I call it One Surging Cardinal, One Cub, and One Beer. Look at that,
Hey, the
Cub.
Cubs have been good all year. The Cubs have been good all year. We just got hot all of a sudden.
Oh, what do you got rained out today? But is it 8 or 9 in a row?
9 in a row, Vince.
In a row. All right. Well, let's get the housekeeping done before we jump into the fun stuff. Those of you who are watching on the YouTube channel, make sure that you subscribe to us. Just click that subscribe button and you can have our episodes as soon as they drop. For those of you who listen on the podcast, no matter what platform you're on, we still love you, even though you have no idea what we look like. If you would like to contact us, please contact us via email, onecard1cup1beer@gmail.com, or leave a comment on one of our platforms, or get a hold of us personally. Slide into our DMs, as the kids say. Slid into their DMs, yeah. And let us know that, hey, I've got something to say to you. You guys stink, or you guys smell great, or whatever. I'm not bad today. No, not today. So anyway, for those of you who would like to support our efforts, please go to patreon.com and just search for One Cardinal, One Cub, and One Beer, and you can find our information on how to support us, and we greatly appreciate all that. If you'd like to be a guest on our show, let us know through one of our vehicles, email, DM, sliding into that DM, or however you want to do it. Say, hey, got a pretty good baseball story. I collect spit from dead baseball players or whatever. We'd love to have you on the show. That is awesome. JJ, your internet is out, and tell me, why is God mad at you?
I don't know. You can't. When you get too high, something's going to happen. When you just start feeling good about yourself, life comes and pulls the rug out from underneath you. But down here, and people in my neck of the woods know this, the internet goes out about once a month. And it's usually a weekend. You've worked all week. You want to come home, barbecue, watch your team play, and the internet's out. So I apologize. You get to see more of me this week. Usually I hide myself a little bit in the bottom of the picture. But anyway, I'm glad to be here and talk baseball with everybody this week.
And you should be glad to be here and talk baseball, because you guys are hotter than my prom date in high school.
Whoa, very nice, Vince. Very nice. Hey.
See me, I did not get hot women. So, I mean, I did as an adult, but as a nerdy kid, we're going to prom with me.
Man, they avoided me like the plague, but that's okay. That's okay. Yeah, Vince, I tell you what, the first month our bullpen was not that good. We had like a rotation where our starters just, man, you're thinking, here we go. At the beginning of the year, you had Contreras and Wynn, had like a 2-week slump. They just weren't hitting, and we were kind of just treading water. And then all of a sudden, we sent a few guys to the minors, moved around the bullpen a little bit, and the starters, Vince, I didn't see this coming. Livator, he pitched great in the spring, but he's even pitched better in the season. Fetty's had some ups and downs, but he's a young pitcher. That's what you kind of expect. Sonny Gray's been Sonny Gray. Fetty. Vince, when's the last time? I can't even think of the last time I heard St. Louis shutout complete game in one sentence. That's amazing. Now the bullpen's getting some rest. They don't have to pitch 4 or 5 innings a game. And here comes Contreras and Wynn. And we're off to the races. I don't want to be I think the coaches have done a good job. I think our coach seems to take the guys out. Like Miles Michaelis has been shaky at times, but he's pitched since Boston, he's pitched some really good games. And our manager has taken him out, and I think it's just at the right time. Like, oh, no, maybe they should get somebody up. And then you see him coming out and calling somebody in. It's been really good. Now, I will say this. I've got a stat here. The Cubs have played teams 500 or better. Most of your games have been against the top teams. We're just 10-10 against teams 500 and better. We kind of got fat on the Pirates and the Nationals, but you know what? Beggars can't be choosers, Vince. beggars can't be choosers, and you got to beat those teams in front of you. We took 2 against the Mets, and I think they're one of the best teams. And things fell our way last night. We got the first game against the Phillies. I know we usually talk about this in the Cardinal corner, but I'm just ecstatic. 9 games. This is the longest winning streak we've had since that 17-game winning streak with when Schultz was our manager. So Cardinals, just hang it. We stay humble, though. You know, I know we have people jumping on and the bandwagon and off the bandwagon. We're still a young team, and I'm so proud of the guys. And there's going to be ups and downs, but, man, I'm just so proud of them, Vince. Since we're still a game behind the Cubs, that's how good the Cubs are.
Well, let me ask you this.
Yeah.
On this show, Jim Turner 2 weeks ago almost conceded. Number one, do you think that this is sustainable? Of course, you're going to lose again. I mean, is this sustainable to be at the top, towards the top of the division, or at the top of the division? Do you think this is sustainable?
Vince, realistically, see, I love Jim. Jim's like he's Spock. He's all analytical. He's smart. He lives in the real world. Vince, I don't live in the real world. I'm like James T. Kirk. I feel with my heart. Everything's with my heart. And I feel maybe things fall right. We could fight for maybe that 6th playoff spot. I really do. I think, I've got a list here of so many injuries of guys that's going to be out most of the year on some of these other teams. Cardinals have had a few little injuries, but if things fall our way, we might be able to, fight for that 6th playoff spot, perhaps. More than likely, we're going to be, if we win, if we improve from last year, I'll be ecstatic. But a lot of experience for these young guys. No, I don't think it's, I do think, though, if the Giants have a few injuries, I see them as like maybe that 6th team that maybe we could sneak in there and get some playoff experience, which could be very important in the future. So that's my thoughts on that, Vince.
Okay, now the offense is very good. It's not a great offense yet, but it's a very good offense. And they're kind of figuring out who's a player and who's not a player, and I'll get to that in a minute. But as long as the pitching sustains, I think you guys have a shot to be in it for a long time. And that's just maintains, I guess I should say. So I think that you do have a shot to stay in there. Your offense is much better than I thought it would be. And which brings me to this question for you. Do you see a scenario where you're buyers at the trade deadline instead of sellers? Because everybody's just been assuming that at this trade deadline, you're sellers.
Right. I still think we're going to be sellers, but if everything fell right and we're right up there and, strange things happen, perhaps, but we've got so many young guys. We're just trying to clear a spot. Maybe if somebody fell in our lap I don't see who it would be right now, because it just seems like so many injuries. I see about 3 different landing spots for Arenado now, and I'd hate to see him go. But right now, Vince, we're doing all this really without Walker offensively and Gorman offensively. They're both playing great defense, but they're only hitting like 188 and 167. And I noticed that Ollie's they're not in the lineup at the same day, because there for a while, sometimes they were batting back to back, and you were like, man, that's 2/3 of the inning right there. And of course, they get a hit every once in a while, but they just haven't looked very good at the plate. Everybody else, we're carrying technically 4 catchers if you want to count Contreras. Herrera's back, DHing, and hitting the cover off, picked up where he left off. And then the 2 catchers we have are very good defensively. And in our division, Vince, the top 3 stolen base teams are from our division: the Cubs, the Reds, and the Brewers. So we got to have strong defensive catching to even compete with you guys. And I see that's why Herrera is going to be the DH. But it's almost got to be where I see Arenado going. So even if we're in it, I don't know if we're really going to go pick anything up, because we're waiting for spots for McCreevy and Graceffa and Quinn Matthews. And so I don't know what it would be if somebody gave us something big, a big chance at somebody, maybe we would do it. Maybe an Arenado move, and we get stronger from subtraction or something like that. But I don't see us going out to buy anybody unless we've got injuries and we're in it. Then perhaps we might then.
Okay, this is the way I feel. First of all, the bottom line is the fans should start coming back.
I hope
And
so.
you and I have been saying that since the beginning of the year. This is a team. There are positives to this team to watch, and now it's reflecting on the record, and it's reflecting that they are. And I know it's only May, but that they, through this push, have put themselves back in the conversation as, man, this team may be pretty good. Now, I want to see this translate into fans coming to Busch Stadium, because I was serious 2 weeks ago. I would be embarrassed if the Cubs roll in there and we take over the stadium, because I don't revel in that. In Milwaukee, I kind of like, it's kind of embarrassing. So I don't want to see that happen. Do I want to see Cub fans at Cardinal games? Yeah, but with the Cardinal organization and all the history and all the championships and the commitment to competing every year, I want to see the fans come back. And the fans come back, and you guys are in it come the trade deadline. I see what I can get for either Walker or Gorman. I think there are teams who will say, okay, we will give you something of value, because you could use another veteran presence in the offense. You've got Contreras, and you got Arenado, but there's a lot of really young guys out there. And I'm thinking about like maybe a player, left-hander who's only going to hit against right-handers, a veteran bat who can come in and be a good influence and give you something offensively, coming off the bench. I would actually give up on one of the two and wish them well for a playoff push this year, because I think this team and this city needs it.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
even if you're knocked out in the first round, you need September, October baseball to be meaningful in St. Louis, because that's what is expected. That's what great organizations do. And if the Cardinals, they're catching lightning in a bottle, kind of.
Yeah.
But I truly believe that this is a very good offense that has a chance to be a great offense. And I've seen more Cardinal games this year than I've seen in the last 10 years. I like the way these players approach their craft. And I just think this is, I've seen all the teams in the division, and I think that this is right now probably one of the top two teams in the division.
Well, thank you. I'm favorites. I love my Cardinals no matter what, but they are fun to watch. And Vince, just this week, most of the area around here, we've had graduations, high school graduations, and college graduations. So school's out. Hopefully the weather, we still have had a lot of rain. I think the Cardinals are averaging, like, I don't know if it was 22 or 26,000 a game, and that's well under what we usually have. So maybe once the weather gets nice, kids are out of school. I know me and Brody are going to an Arizona Diamondback Cardinal game coming up. I mean, we're only two people, but I'm out there trying to do my part, Vince. And, and with this podcast, we talk baseball, we get excited. So, anyway, I just hope it picks up. Now, I have to say about the Cub fans, you guys, I get so much respect. You're there. If you're at fifth place, you're first place. It's just a good atmosphere, and it's just the fans are knowledgeable, and it's a good time. And you see young kids, you see the old grandma and grandpas there. I absolutely love it, and I really respect the Cub fans for filling Wrigley. And that's like going to church. I think going to ball games like going to church, but going to Wrigley is like going to a revival. It's just everybody's making those beer things all the way up to the top. They're having a good time. Now, I haven't been at many revivals where people are drinking, but if they did, it's Wrigley Field.
I can honestly say I have never fallen asleep at a ball game. I've caught a few winks in church before, though. So I, I don't even compare it to. I'll tell you a story. Two stories when I was in the ministry. I was a young guy, and it was a Easter service, community service in this little town, Silex, Missouri. And so there was a Baptist church, a Presbyterian church, an Assembly of God church, and I can't remember. There was a fourth denomination, but maybe Methodist. But now this was in the '80s, and I had hair. I had,
Okay.
and it was the '80s, and man, I
Was
would
it feathered? Did you have the feathered hair?
I would moose up my hair, and I had a perm then. I mean,
Oh,
I looked great. So Sunday morning Easter service, we go to this church. It may have I think it was a Presbyterian church, and they said, well, all the ministers are going to sit up front and face the congregation, which was okay. I think I had an invocation or something like that, or I maybe told the story of Jesus and the Easter egg. I don't know what I did, but anyway, I like I said last week, I am afraid of flying, stinging insects. And I'm sitting in this church that is old as dirt. There's no air conditioning. It is hot. I'm in a suit, and but my hair looks great. And all of a sudden, a wasp who is attracted to the smell of that mousse will not, for the whole service, was just landing on me. And I am sitting there like this, and people thought, oh gosh, he's got the spirit or he's going to crap his pants. I can't tell which one, but that was one story in front of from the ministry. Another time, I was at a community church at an Assembly of God church, and once more they had the minister sit up front, and I don't know, remember Community Revival or something, but
oh yeah.
I was Southern Baptist minister, and the Assembly of God minister was preaching, and he kept going, and he kept going, and he kept going, and the place was packed. I mean, it only held about 100 people, but it was packed. There were people standing in the aisles since it was a community service. And he said something like, well, I need to wrap this up soon, but there's a hymn that we sing, such and such. You all know it. Let's sing it right there in the middle of the sermon. I mean, he had laughed, he'd cried, every emotion. And I can guarantee you this hymn was not in any Baptist hymnal. And I'm just standing there staring at people going, know this hymn. So
Just mouthing along. Yeah.
so then he went about 15 more minutes after that. I'm thinking, no fair, dude. He preached for over an hour. And I'm thinking, okay, and he didn't say anything. That's what agitated me. It was just a lot of emotional blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, oh gosh, I don't like, and this is not just religion, this is if you're a skilled public speaker, you can take people to places emotionally and you can manipulate them. And that's what I saw going on here. He was getting people upset and everything and trying to get people to come to the altar and and then gives an invitation to come up to the altar, and he just guilting people and crying, and people are going up there crying, and I'm thinking, my gosh, stop manipulating people. But
I like to have church over by noon so I can get home. We get our plates together and watch the NFL. That's the perfect preaching right there.
Oh, I haven't been to church in 5 or 6 years, so
it's been about 6 months or a year, maybe a year for me. I've been working so many jobs. If I get a chance to sleep, I go to sleep. It's hard to get up early when you're off.
Funny thing, I used to do my comedy bit. I used to have this deal, that I got out of the ministry for noble reasons. I wanted to travel, wanted to see the Taj Mahal. I wanted to see the Great Wall of China, and I wanted to see the Grand Tetons that inhabited the stage of Larry Flint's Hustler Club. So, that well-known comic from St. Louis, the first time he heard me, afterward, he kind of had this concept that, first of all, I was very new in comedy, and I was figuring out you got to separate. Not everything coming from most stuff coming from a comedy stage is not fact. It's
Right,
embellishment or it's a flat out lie. We're trying to
right.
get people to laugh. And this comic came up to me and he said, "So you just quit the ministry and then went to a strip club?" No, I've been out of the ministry for since the mid '90s. I didn't go to a strip club until 20 years later. So then I
Yeah,
got
come on, man.
I got mad because they had $8 beers, and I'm like, I don't spend this kind of money for beers.
Yeah, you're
Uh,
paying for atmosphere.
yeah, I didn't even like the atmosphere. So, oh, anyway, let's talk about baseball in general. In Colorado, Bud Black is out, and Warren Schaefer is in, and that is going to make absolutely no difference because that Colorado team stinks.
I think Bud Black was probably the happiest anybody when he got that. He got to get out of that mess. 9 years, I'll give him that. He was there for 9 years, and he's a good man. I don't know when he'll pop back up. I'm sure if he wants to continue to coach somewhere, he might get a coaching job. But you know what? He's probably very glad to get out of Colorado. That's just, boy, it's been a disaster for a couple of years now. So, but we've had some others, a lot of changes. Vince, we're only 6 full weeks into the new season, and the Pirates got rid of Shelton, their manager, and the Rangers, who I'm very high on, got rid of their hitting coach and got Brett Boone. So we've seen already a lot of managerial coaching changes pretty quick, just 6 weeks into the season. Any of those you did? I probably saw all of those coming, to be honest with you. I didn't know about the hitting coach, but the Pirates and the Rockies coaches, I kind of seen that coming.
Well, Bud Black didn't do anything wrong. It's a terrible team. I mean, Bud Black has proven he's a pretty good major league manager.
Yeah.
Um, when you have it's not just ineptness, it's bad luck on top of that. We're going to bring in one star in here that's going to pack him in, and it's going to be Chris Bryant, and that's falling apart. Arenado wanted out of there. Trevor Story wanted out of there. They do not know how to piece together a consistent winner. They've had their times where they have crept into the playoffs. I think during the COVID year, they made a playoff appearance, or maybe a year out. They beat the Cubs in one of them, or I don't remember what it
I
was.
think that's when they had Clint Hurdle maybe as their coach or something like that.
Yeah,
It's been a while back now, but yeah, you're right. And it's a beautiful place to see a game. It attracts fans just because they love baseball and they can watch the other team play. But man, I just feel bad. They've been bad for so long, and this could be historically bad this year.
yeah. As far as Derek Shelton goes, I don't know if he did anything wrong. The Pirates, they've got Skeens. They got the other pitcher, who's really good. Just doesn't have the
Is it Keller, perhaps, maybe?
Mitch Keller's pretty good. The other young guy, I,
Yeah, I can't think of who it is, man.
anyway, they've got decent pitching. They've got a few decent pitchers. The bullpen is shaky. Bednar is no longer a closer because he's in Ryan Presley's zone right now. So, and then on offense, they've got pieces. They got O'Neal Cruz. They've got
Hayes
Ke'Bryan
at third.
Hayes. They they
Yeah.
they've got some pieces, but they 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 plot around with getting good players, developing a few good players, but they don't add anything to it. So they're always going to have trouble winning. And the only thing I can see the Pirates doing to get back to where they're winning is what they did 15 years ago, just tank for a few years and get all these good players coming up at once before they hit free agency and try to make a playoff run then. So I don't blame these guys for their bad teams. And the good thing is you get fired, you still get paid till your contract's out.
Very
So
good. You notice
good.
the general managers kept their jobs. I would thought it would have been coach and general manager, but again, it's the owners. I know the Pirates fans are not happy with their owner right now,
Oh, they
and
haven't been happy with him for years. So
yeah, that's true. That's true.
yeah.
Oh, speaking of Paul Skeens, they're all. I know it's 2026 and the World Baseball Classic, but they named Aaron Judge the captain. And just today, I don't know if you heard this, but Paul Skeens is going to be on the team. I tell you what, he played at Air Force. He's a big part of Gary Sinise's Foundation for Veterans. He really is involved in that. And he decided, hey, if I get a chance, I want to play for the World Baseball Classic. I think that's great because a lot of these other countries, their best players come out and play. I mean, there's a lot of pride, national pride. I'd like to see a lot of the American players come out and play. And with Judge and Skeens on there, Vince, I'll tell you what, I'll watch that team any day of the week. That's the beginning of a very powerful team. And I bet you Bobby Witt Jr. will be there before too long. He usually plays too on those kind of teams. So we could be looking at a pretty darn good team right there.
Well, hopefully.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Commissioner Manfred has concluded that MLB's policy that permanent ineligibility is going to not be in perpetuity until infinity, but will now end upon the cessation of life of said banned player. What do you think about that?
Well, I kind of think we just keep. I don't know. That was the rule. And really, Rose and Jackson aren't going to see. They've never been even given the opportunity to be voted on. The steroid guys they've had, I believe they all have had chances for the people to vote on them, and they don't get voted in. But Rose and Vince, they went this far. They're both passed away. I'm not big on the idea. I know a lot of people I read all over the internet. Rose should be in the Hall of Fame, and like you went there and you said he is in the Hall of Fame. There's
all over it.
Yeah, all over the place. He's mentioned. He just doesn't have a plaque there. I kind of wish if they were going to do this, I wish they'd done it before he passed away. But I don't know. Whatever baseball decides, I'm kind of mixed on it. I love Pete Rose. I wished he didn't get himself in this predicament. But if they're going to do it, I guess that's all right. He's going to get voted in, and Jackson too should be, and that'll be that. But okay, I guess if he passed away, they can vote you in, But Vince, I don't know. I'm kind of mixed on it. I kind of lean, all right, I guess it's okay.
Now, Manfred has done some things that I haven't liked, but he's done some things that I've liked, so I'm mixed on him. I like the rules changes that has come under his regime, but it's hard for me to overcome him letting the Astros off for cheating and calling the trophy a hunk of metal.
Yes.
That will always stick in my craw. I don't even know what a craw is, but it's stuck there. Okay. Now, I actually kind of like this. Yeah. And I'll tell you why. Shoeless Joe Jackson, who was functionally illiterate, who did meet with, agree to the gamblers in the White Sox scandal or the Black Sox scandal in 1919. But his World Series statistics show that he didn't tank. I hate to put it this way. He was a simple man who got caught up in this. And I think he deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. So I'm happy about that. I think this is a good compromise. For all the people who scream Pete Rose should be in the Hall of Fame, okay, from now on, if you're banned, you're told you have a lifetime ban.
Yeah.
You die, you'll be eligible for the Hall of Fame. And all your kids and grandkids, those who still talk to you, Pete Rose, if any. Well, that was a low blow. I'm not a Pete Rose fan, as you all know.
Yeah.
But yeah, this when you die, yeah, we'll let the voters decide whether or not you get in. But the penalty for you doing what you did, gambling on baseball, which is a cardinal sin, penalty is while you're alive, you're not eligible for the Hall of Fame. I think that's a good line. So I'm pretty much in favor of that. The steroid people are not banned from, they're
Right.
just blackballed because writers are not putting them in because of the steroid allegations, proofs. And I know that there are people who took steroids who are in the hall. But if you have players who there is definitive proof that they've taken it, there is enough corroborating evidence that says, yes, this person is guilty. Yeah, if you're a writer and you don't want that, leave them off. If I was a writer, I would not vote for steroid people, but if another writer would, that's their prerogative. That's the way I look at it. It is a democratic process. So let the majority win when it comes to these steroid people, whether or not they're voted into the Hall of Fame.
Well, it was getting completely out of hand, and through all that, there's testing now, and it just seems to be a fair playing field. But I would think, these guys got all this notoriety, all this money, and there was probably players that were sent down because they couldn't get any of these guys out. They just not only enhanced their career, but they hurt other people's career, and now some of them are in the same breath with Aaron and Mays and Mantle and those guys, and I'm like, oh, come on, man. You were a good player, but you're not, the all-time greats or anything like that. But anyway, yeah, they vote them in, Vince. They go in. They're more dedicated and knowledgeable about the game than I am, so I'll go with whatever they say. But there was some sad news this week, but I kind of always I don't know if you heard about Chet Lemon. He passed away. And Chet Lemon was a guy, and I always say the 84 Tigers in my lifetime was the most dominant team. Now, I'm not saying they were the best team, but they were the most dominant team. The first 40 games, Vince, I think they were 35-5. They just rolled over everybody. Jack Morris had perhaps his best year. They just went through the playoffs, swept the World Series. They just walked through it. And Chet Lemon was a big part of that team, and I always think of him with a big smile on his face. And those guys would move runners over. They played baseball the way I like to see it, where they just played good, fundamental, sound ball, great defense. And Chet played he was 70 years old when he passed away. He was a three-time All-Star, and on that great 84 Tiger team, played 7 years with the White Sox and 9 years with the Tigers, and he had a 55.7 WAR. That
really is good. Yeah, when I saw that, I thought, very good.
Yeah. And 1,875 hits. I never thought of him much as a home run hitter. I knew he could hit him. He hit 215 lifetime and a 273 lifetime batting average. Solid all the way, great across the board. So what a great teammate. They had that whole lineup was really good. And, of course, the great Sparky Anderson and Hernandez in the bullpen. Anyway, Chet Lemon, I'll just always remember him out there manning center field and playing the outfield and smiling. And there was always seemed to be celebrating at home plate because they were whipping everybody. They were so happy and everything. So anyway, just wanted to pay my respects and bring a little attention to Chet Lemon because a lot of the young players probably don't even know who he was,
My memory of Chet, my favorite memory of Chet was when he was with the White Sox. He got off to a poor start. And I don't know, we were 8 weeks into the season, and he was probably hitting 230. And for the pregame show, this one Harry Carey was doing White Sox games, he had Chet as his guest. And man, you would have thought the guy was hitting 350, just happy, laughing, and just telling Harry, yeah, let's hope next time you talk to me, I'm hitting about 280 where I should be, just like, wow. There are players who get off the poor starts that aren't going to go on a pregame show. I don't want to talk to anybody. I suck. That would have been me. But Chet Lemon, he's a better man than me. So, Lemon. So.
Love Chet Lemon.
When I asked you a few weeks ago what the hell's wrong with people, this falls into that category.
Oh, okay.
So Saturday, Lance McCullers takes the mound, and we talked about he hadn't pitched since the 2022 World Series, and the start before he made his debut after being out for almost 3 years. I should re-debut, but anyway. So in his second start on Saturday, he gave up 7 runs in the first inning. And no one wants to do that, but it happens. He got death threats, not just him, but I will kill your kids. Just, yeah, you didn't hear about that?
No, I didn't hear about that, Vince.
I, what's wrong with people? Do I get angry when Ryan Presley gives up 9 runs in the 11th inning like he did this week? And I'll go over that. Yeah, it doesn't even cross my mind to think that someone should harm him for this.
Oh, no,
And
no.
I always liken it to this. We all have jobs, and there are days where we just don't perform it well. And the thing is, nobody knows about it. Just maybe a few people that we work with, and nobody knows about it. When you're a Major League Baseball player and you have a bad day at your job, everybody knows about it. Okay, that's part of the deal. It is not part of the deal for a fan to get so upset over a game in May that you were threatening his children's lives. What the hell's going on with people?
Vince, I don't know. There's no excuses. I hope this was just a isolated incident. I mean, if you get 100 people in a room, if I have a family reunion, there's about 2 or 3 of them. I'm not too crazy about myself, but I hope this is just a one-time thing, and this person obviously needs help. To me, a story like this is inspiring. Here's a guy worked his tail off to come back, and the first game, and I would figure your first game back. I am in such admiration of the players, any sport. But baseball, it's the hardest thing to do is hit a baseball or pitch. When you got 50,000 people and people on TV watching you and you got to throw a ball in the outside corner because if it floats over the middle, they're going to smack it. Oh, my gosh. You almost just have to not think about it and just do it. I have a lot of admiration, and a guy like that coming back, I have nothing but admiration. A lot better than I am. Probably all the work and the hours to get to that point, and then you got some clown like that doing stuff like that. I don't know what to say about that. I apologize for mankind, to be honest with you.
Well, I don't know what Mick Foley has to do with this, but anyway.
I fell right into that one, Vince.
Yeah. You and I both spent years doing stand-up comedy. There are nights, same material you do where you kill. You say you rolled the room. The laughing, you had to take applause breaks. You had to stop in your set and let the laughter die down because you're just rolling. Same material the next night, crickets. For some reason, it's not hitting. Thank God no one has said, I'm going to kill you and your kids for not making me laugh tonight. Click.
I wouldn't be around anymore, Vince. I bomb more than I succeed, to be honest with you. Good Lord.
What's wrong with people? Let me get into some of the transactions, walking wounded, so on and so forth. People of note, Kevin Pillar is on the 10-day IL with lower back inflammation. And so the Rangers are still scuffling a little bit. But a couple weeks, he'll be back and should be as good as new. Andrew Benintendi is on the 10-day IL with the left calf strain. And the good news is he does not have to take the field for the White Sox for 10 days. And he's probably like, thank God. This one really hurts. Hunter Green, 15-day IL with a groin strain. And the Reds, with all this young talent, a lot of injuries. And Hunter Green is the Paul Skeens of that team. He is head and shoulders above the pitching caliber of most teams in of most players in Major League Baseball. And so that 15 days they're gonna miss him. And they're already starting to kind of have some issues. They've fallen below 500, and this isn't going to help that at all. But the good news for the Reds is that with all the injuries, the Padres traded Connor Joe to the Reds. So Connor Joe, who's been with the Pirates for the last few years, back with Cincinnati. I've always thought he was a good utility player to have around. He'd get you some big hits. Good job. In the Baltimore world, Tyler O'Neill is back from the IL, and he will be riding the pine until next year's opening day. That's all they went him for is opening day, so he can hit home runs on opening day.
Oh, yeah, I see.
Zach Eflin is also off the IL, and Baltimore sorely needs that. That was their big pitching acquisition this year. And when he's right, he's a really good pitcher, and that's just such a talented team that's scuffling right now. So hopefully he will help. Chris Bryant has officially been put on the 60-day IL. That degenerative disc disease that he's got in his back. And it's just a sad story. And one day I'll do a spotlight on Chris Bryant and kind of look at his career. All that promise, all that talent. In 4 years, his senior year of college, he won the Golden Spikes Award. His first year in Chicago, he won the Rookie of the Year. Second year in Chicago, he won the MVP. I think he's the only player to have done that. Golden Spikes 1 year, the next year Rookie of the Year, the next year MVP. This guy was so good when he was with the Cubs, but you started to see holes emerging in the early 2020s. And you wondered, and now we know that, degenerative disease, he's always been kind of brittle. And Eddie Rosario, who was traded from the Dodgers to the Braves last week. So the Braves sent Kelnick down, and they thought Rosario may help them.
Oh, yeah.
They've already said, we're going to send you down to AAA. And he's like, I'm good. So he can refuse an assignment. So he refused the assignment, and he's now a free agent. So anybody want Eddie Rosario, he's available. So.
Nice veteran. A lot of hey, White Sox, up to Colorado, somebody like that would pick him up.
Yeah, certainly. The Sod Poodles.
Yeah, the world famous Sod Poodle. Yeah.
I mean, there's teams that would want him. So that's all I got for general news. You got anything else?
Just a couple other things, Vince. Evan Longoria retired after 16 years. And I really like that guy. When Madden was with Tampa Bay and he was the third baseman, he was their star. And I always thought of them as overachievers, but what it really is they were in the same division with the Yankees and the Red Sox and the Orioles and the Blue Jays. The Orioles weren't really good back then, but it just seemed like, Longoria was the captain of that team and they were underdogs. And I don't know if they were really underdogs. I mean, they played there and they won a division many, many times. But Longoria, what a good career. There at the end, he played for other teams and moved around the league. But always a fan of that guy. And just shows you were talking about Chris Bryant. You're never guaranteed. You don't know life. You're not guaranteed anything. I think of Mark the Bird Fidrick. He had that one great year, and it was kind of over. And then Bryant had, 4 incredible years, and then there was that decline. And then Longoria had a really good career and stuck around for 16 years. So, anyway, going to kind of miss that guy. I know he wasn't in the headlines of late, but just a good baseball guy. And, you might see these guys working with the minor leagues or maybe even managing one day. And then I don't know if you saw this injury, but Oswald Cabrera, the third baseman of the Yankees, went down and he has a fractured left ankle and he is out. He had to be taken out in an ambulance. And there's just been so many injuries, Vince. And I tell you what, I saw there's about 30 guys on the 60-day or longer IR, and now there's a bunch of 10 guys a year, 10-day and 15-day guys. But it just seems like we're starting the season earlier and earlier because of all the extra playoffs. And we're just seeing with all the science and the stretching they're doing and everything, and we're just seeing more and more injuries. So I wish him hope he gets back quick, but the playoffs might be the last man standing, the teams with all the injuries. I know you guys have had two of your number 1 and 2 pitchers that went out. We've had little injuries with Herrera and Wynn. But basically that's it. We knock on wood, we've been pretty healthy. So, this is just May. By the time we get to August, it may be, we're just plugging holes with players, But anyway, that's just the observation, and that's all I have for general news.
All right. I know we've talked a little bit about the Cardinals, but let's add to it. You've had a great week.
Vince, I want to start out with something funny, I think. There is a mascot Hall of Fame. Who would have thought about this? A mascot Hall of Fame. I didn't. This is not just baseball, not just the pro teams, all the pro teams, the college teams, the minor leagues, and Fred Bird is one of the people that's up for induction. I'm going to tell you something right now. I'm a Cardinal fan, but don't you vote for Fred Bird. He is a hack. I'm telling you what, he runs around with a flag. You know where he got that? From your mascot. Yeah, Fred Bird, I said it. Do not vote for Fred Bird. He just basically claps and puts his beak on kids' heads. I'm sick of it. He's a horrible mascot. He's a poor. It's shameful, I tell you what. But I do like some of them. There's the BYU Cougar. Now that's pretty cool. I think the best mascot, you got the Phoenix Gorilla. That dude's on a mini tramp doing flips and slamming it. That's a mascot. You don't see Fred Bird doing that. Vince, I'm going to say this. I'm going to tell the Cardinal people this right now. If I got to be Fred Bird, it's none of this PC stuff. I would set myself on fire and get drugged by a 3-wheeler across the outfield. I would do that for the Cardinals, flame retardant outfit.
And then you would die at the age of 60 like Sabu.
Oh, Sabu. I know. Yeah, very, very sad. But anyway, do not vote for I love Sabu, but don't vote for Fred Bird. He's just, there's the Golden Gopher from the University of Minnesota and Bernie, the Brewer mascot. Hey, I lost a little respect. He used to slide down into a thing of beer, a beer stein. Now it's just, I don't know, it's just like a box he goes into. And they're the Brewers. You should still have the beer stein there. But anyway, these are some, and Sparta, the University of Michigan State University.
That's what I was going to say. That one's great.
Yeah, he's a good one. I like him. Hugo the Hornet from the Charlotte Hornets. He's another good one, but not Fred Bird. Well, the talk of the town here in St. Louis is the 9-game winning streak. This is the longest streak since I think it's 2021 when Schilt was here and we had that 17-game hitting streak. Vince, I only remember twice as having double-digit winning streaks. In 82, it was early in the season we had a 12-game winning streak, and then that one in 21 where we had a 17-game, and here we are at 9. Tonight's game has been rained out. We got a doubleheader tomorrow. And that's another thing. The Cardinals have played 3 doubleheaders already. Boston swept us, and I think it was Pittsburgh. We took one from them, and I can't remember the other one. But we had 3 doubleheaders so far, and one we swept 2, and we got swept in 1. But the Cardinals, we played the Pirates this week, and on Tuesday we beat them 2-1. And Liverpool, oh my gosh! A lot of people, you can't judge a trade until much later. And they were thinking the Cardinals got ripped off. Look, Rosarena's down there in Tampa Bay lighting it up, and he is a very good player. But Liverpool, hang on, he's doing pretty good, and every year he gets a little bit better. He's 3-3 with a 3.07 ERA. And Matz is now, I tell you what, he has came in out of the bullpen and emergency started and done a heck of a job. And his ERA is 1.44. And sometimes he gives us 3 innings of relief. Skeens, we beat Paul Skeens, but there's no rhyme or reason to this. Paul Skeens gives everybody trouble. Now, we only won 2-1, but he's lost 7 games in his pro career, and 4 of them have been to the St. Louis Cardinals. I don't know what to do about that, but that's what it is. Liverpool went 7 innings and only gave up 1 run and struck out 8, and he outdueled Skeens that particular night. And we only had 4 hits, and Burleson got a double with 2 RBIs. And Burleson's starting to play more because I'll be honest with you, Jordan Walker is setting more, and he's getting the DH. He's getting to play right field, and he's playing some first base when Contreras goes to DH or gets a day off. And Burley's doing a heck of a job. So it's all kind of working out. I will say this about Jordan Walker, and I'm not making excuses for him. I remember Matt Adams used to always, they'd call it outside, a little off the plate, and they called a strike, and then he'd have to go, like, the strike zone got bigger, and he would chase balls after that. It seems like Jordan Walker always gets one particular, like, pitch they would call outside, and they would call a strike, and he'd go, oh. And then the next thing you know, they're throwing a sweeper, and he's chasing it and striking out. So I don't know, but I love him, and I hope and the outfield he's been much better in the outfield this year. Wednesday, we won 5-0, and we swept the Pirates, and Sonny Gray got his fourth win. He's 4-1 with a 3.50 ERA. He went 7 innings and no earned runs, 8 strikeouts, and 1 walk. Mason Wynn, my goodness, he's coming on. Him and Contreras are coming on like gangbusters. He was 2 for 4. He's at 267 now. Newt Barr, who's been a very good leadoff man. It seems like he's always getting 6 or 7, 8 pitches at the bat. He went 3 for 4. And Victor Scott, he's bunting. He's getting on base. He's scoring from first base on a hit, and he's hitting 289. Can't say any more about these young guys right there. And our bullpen did a heck of a job. Roycroft did great in spring, was terrible in the first couple of weeks, sent him to the minors. He worked on a few things, came back, and he's in low, what you call leverage situations, and he's pitching much better. And he's usually one of the, he comes in maybe the 7th inning, never the 8th or the 9th. And so anyway, Thursday we were off, so we swept the Pirates, and now we're going to play the Nationals. And I won't bore you too much with this, but Friday we beat the Nationals 10-0, and that's when Fetty threw a complete game shutout, his first complete game of his career, and his ERA is now 3.86. I'll take that any day of the week. Contreras, I think he's becoming the captain of the team, Vince. He is just taking charge. He's joyful. He celebrates. He hugs his teammates. He's a veteran. I really think him and Arenado are the captains of the team, where Arenado's more cool, calm, and collective. Contreras is more emotional and excitable, and I like both of them. There's 2 ways to do that. So anyway, just love him being there. Herrera came back, and we sent Luca Baker down. So Herrera's back, and that's good because that guy can hit. Saturday, we won 4-2, and Palante pitched a heck of a game, 7.1 innings, gave up 2 earned runs. We scored 4 in the second, just held on, and did a heck of a job. And Sunday, I know I got the scores here somewhere, Vince. Sunday, we beat the Nationals 6-1 and swept the Nationals. So we were up to 8 wins in a row there. And that was Michaelis going 2-2. They only 5 1/3, and I think that Ollie took them out at a good spot right there because they were starting to. The score was much closer when he left, and then we piled on at the end. And then Monday we played the Phillies, and Vince, this is a good test because I really truly think the Phillies are one of the 5 best teams. I really do, and we won 3-2, and it was just a chess match. Each team had chances to score, and we score 1, they'd come back, vice versa, and we finally scored the last run and won 3-2. And Liberatore and Sanchez, it was a great battle. And the Cardinals only got 5 hits, but luckily a couple of them were homers. And Jordan Walker made a heck of a play at the end of the game. I thought he was going to run over Victor Scott. And Vince, that wouldn't be fair because Jordan Walker's like 6'5" and 270, and
running tree, yeah.
And he was coming, and Victor is not the biggest guy in the world. He would have smoked him for sure. So thank God they didn't collide in the outfield. But that's 9 in a row. I can't believe it. The Cubs are at the top, 24-18. The Cardinals are 23-19, a game back. I think we've kind of snuck through through there. The Reds and the Brewers are 4 back, and the Pirates are 10 back. And but this is the thing I wanted to point out. You guys on teams 500 or better, the Cubs are 19 and 16. You guys have played 35 games against teams 500 or better. and you're just smoking teams, losing teams. We're 10-10 against 500 or better teams, and we've had a lot. We played a lot of weaker teams than you guys have. So the pendulum's going to change there. Right now, we've kind of crept up there, but you guys are just about to take off. So we'll have to see what happens there. But one of the stories early was the Cardinals were really playing great ball at home, but on the road we were terrible. But since the streak, we were 8-13 on the road now. And I think that's much more respectable than where we were. So I think we're an improving team. A lot of things going on, and I'm so proud of the Cards of where they're at this moment. And if it turns around and goes the other way, I'll still love them. But we'll see what happens tomorrow. I'm excited. We got a double hitter, and then I think we go to Kansas City, and then the Tigers come here. So we've got some tough teams coming up. And that's it for Cardinal news.
All right. In Cub news, Cade Horton, our stud pitching prospect, is up, and he made his debut, and I will talk about that. So that's tremendous news. We are kind of beat up a little bit. Ian Happ has a quad strain, and he's been put on the 10-day IL. I think it's retroactive to Friday, maybe Thursday. So what we did today is we called up Moises Ballesteros, our number 4 prospect. If you're talking about pure hitting, he's the number 1 prospect. He's 21 years old, and he can just flat out hit. And he's hit everywhere he's been. He is 5'8". He is a chunky guy. He's a catcher by trade, but not a very good one. So he catches at AAA, and he also does some DHing. He comes up hitting a AAA 368 with a 420 on base percentage. He doesn't strike out much, and he walks. 522 slugging percentage, 4 home runs, 18 RBIs, 19 runs, 50 hits at 136 at bats in only 34 games. Wow. And I've watched him for the last 2 spring trainings, and he can just flat out hit. So why did we bring him up? What we are doing is we have put Suzuki in left field while Happ has been out of the lineup, and that leaves DH open. We tried Justin Turner. Justin Turner has, I think, 7 hits this year. They're all singles. I don't know why he's still on the team. He obviously doesn't have it, and calling up Ballesteros means that he's going to be DHing while Happ is out, and Turner is going to be relegated to pinch hitting against left-handers. So Ballesteros, before he got called up today, what we had done is we had Carson Kelly DH and Amaya catching, because they're both having good offensive years. Well, Carson Kelly's having a ridiculous offensive year. But this was a good time to call up Ballesteros to see what he can do at the big league level, and I think he's going to hit. Left-handed hitter, like I said, doesn't look like an athlete. 5'8", pudgy, but man, the guy can hit. Other news, Tyson Miller's been moved to the 60-day IL. So good for us last year, and that's just how baseball goes. And we've had our share of injuries this year. Steele's out for the year. Imanaga is out right now. Tyson Miller gone probably for most of the year. We've got some other guy that's gone for 60 days. One of our other relievers, but the name's escaping me right now. So we went 2-4 this week, which is pretty okay. I mean, it's not like like 500 or better for the week, but there's a couple things to consider. Number one, we are a little bit beat up, so we're kind of patchworking a few things. But also number two, I think when you play the gauntlet that we've played with all these good teams, it's this last week, I've sensed there's a little bit of exhaustion, like, my gosh. And one of my things that I'm a little nervous about now that we have Miami in town, and then we're going to play the White Sox. We got the Rockies coming up. We got the Pirates coming up. Are we going to have a little bit of a hangover and not play as well as maybe we should? I don't know, but we'll see. But let me get into the games this week. And by the way, I was smart enough to not make a bet with Mark Marianello because I did not want to wear Mets garb. So I just so on Tuesday we played our second game against the Giants, and it was 5-5 going into the 10th inning. So Giants don't score in the top of the 10th. Bottom of the 10th, we have a runner on third with one out. PCA is up. The Giants bring in a left-hander that has a nasty slider. Everybody is thinking, because I'm thinking, and I'm sure everybody else is thinking, okay, PCA, the best bunter on the team, safety squeeze, get that run home, go home. The great thing about a safety squeeze is if you execute the bunt,
Oh yeah,
there's nothing you can do about it. I
that's
mean,
right.
just you have the right runner coming down, going fast enough. He sees the ball's bunted in fair territory. He breaks. There's just not enough time on a good bunt to throw it to home. That's why it's such an effective play. Council had PCA swinging away, and he was flailing, looking terrible. And when he swung at the first pitch, he got a strike one. I thought, okay, he's got to be bunting the second pitch. He swung away again, and then I don't know, he maybe got the count to like 2-2, and then he struck out on a slider that I think was somewhere near Indiana. And so we didn't score, and then Presley comes in and gave up 9 runs in the top of the 11th inning. Now, I know Ryan Presley came into that outing with an ERA of about 2 and left with an ERA pushing 8. But Presley's been doing it with mirrors. He's not striking anybody out. He's a lot of hard contact. He's had a lot of good luck. This is more indicative of how he's pitching right now. He's not a closer anymore. And I said that the first week of April on this thing. I don't know why we have him closing. He's not a closer anymore. And Council just let him out there and let him take his lumps, 9 runs. But it was a frustrating game because it's a game that we should have won. If we would have got a bunt down in the 10th inning, we would have won. And you have 2 chances to get that bunt down if you don't swing at the first pitch. You can theoretically have 3 chances to get the bunt down. I would have let him try to bunt if he had 2 strikes on him because he wasn't going to hit this guy. Nothing against PCA, but with the guy's arm angle and how much break he had on it, and PCA is a free swinger, strikeout. And that screwed it up. But in that game, Tucker did have a couple hits and an RBI. Swanson, red hot, 2 for 4. Amaya, 1 for 3 with a 2-run home run. And Colin Ray started 5 innings, 4 earned run, 5 runs total. And then the bullpen just came and did a fantastic job until Presley came in there and stunk up the joint. Okay, so then the rubber game we're playing on Wednesday against the Giants, we lose 3-1. It was a crazy windy day, and I don't know how else to explain it. Every ball that went up in the air was an adventure. We lose 3-1. Horner did have a couple of hits. PCA drove in a run. The Giants aren't a great offensive team, but they're a pretty good offensive team. Ben Brown, 5 innings, 3 runs, 9 strikeouts. He pitched pretty good. And then the rest of the guys came in and shut them down, but it was just kind of one of those weird games. So we lose 2 of 3 to the Giants. And then we go to New York, and the first game against the Mets on Friday, we lose 7-2. The only thing we managed was Tucker and Bush both hit solo home runs. And on that Friday night game, Tyone, 4 innings pitched, his first really bad outing of the year, 5 earned runs. The bullpen came in and did a pretty good job, but we just could not score the victory there. Then on Saturday, we play the Mets and we win 6-5. And let me get through the offensive stats first. Suzuki, 2 for 5. Bush, 2 for 3. Swanson, 2 for 3. Another home run. Amaya, 1 for 4. Drove in a couple of runs. But the real story about this game was it's a nationally televised game on Fox, and Cade Horton is coming up. And I like what Council did. He didn't give him the start. He had Brad Keller come in and pitch as an opener. Keller, 1 inning, no hits, couple of strikeouts, looked awesome. Then Cade Horton came in, pitched 4 innings, struck out 5, gave up 4 hits. He made one bad pitch, and I don't even think it was a bad pitch. It was a oh gosh, Beatty for the Mets, who was
their young star. Yeah.
just red hot. He took a slider that barely went over the wall. But he had 2 home runs in that game. But Horton did pitch 4 innings. He actually did get the victory. Hodge came in and got the save. So at least it wasn't going to get swept by the Mets. And then on Sunday, we lost to the Mets 6-2. PCA did hit a home run. Matt Boyd, 6 innings, only 2 earned runs. Hodge kind of coughed up a bad inning there, and we lose 6-2. So, and then things lighten up a bit because the Marlins come to town, and last night we won 3-2. Tucker drove in a run with a triple. Suzuki drove in 2 runs with a home run. Swanson went 2 for 4 with a 2-run home run. Amaya went 3 for 3. And Colin Ray, 6 2/3 innings, 2 earned runs. Palencia came in, and that guy has been so filthy this year. He's got fastballs hit 102 miles an hour. He's got a great slider. His ERA this year is 1.38, and that guy's a closer written all over him. But the cool thing was, guess who closed this game out? The old man, the old left-hander we got off the scrap heap, Drew Pomerantz, who has pitched so good for us, has yet to allow a run for us, came in the 9th inning and 1 inning, couple strikeouts. He did give up a hit, but it was never anything serious. So that was the week. We were 2-4. And, well, the Cubs, they're kind of fading, choking, or whatever, No, 2-4 happens. It's going to happen to every team during the season. We're going to have a week where we win one game or maybe get swept for the whole week. It happens. It's baseball. This is not a situation where we're playing bad. In fact, we kind of thought if we would be 500 after the Mets, after we leave New York, we would be in great shape because the schedule gets much lighter. We were a couple games ahead of that. So I'm very happy where we are. The thing is, the Cardinals have just gotten so hot. There are some times when a hot team overtakes you. It's not that you just start playing bad or losing. A hot team overtakes you, and the Cardinals are just hot right now. So it's pretty cool. When I wanted to start this podcast, that's kind of the thing I thought. We would have pennant races. We would have these races in the Central that would last for the season. It just hasn't been that way. And I'm like, hey, man, they're only a game behind us. This is exciting. So I hope fans come back to the ballpark in St. Louis. And I hope when we play you guys, we're both doing well. And we have some of those classic series that we've had in the past. So,
Vince, in my lifetime, look, I'm using the microphone that ain't even hooked up. I'm an idiot. In my lifetime, most of the times when we're good, the Cubs are okay. Or when the Cubs are really good, we're just okay. We're very seldom both pretty good at the same time. But I really have such optimism for the Cubs because you guys have depth. You got a lot of depth. There's a couple of spots I know you want to clean up, but a lot of these teams, they've only got maybe a okay starting lineup. They don't have any depth, and they have just a bunch of unknowns for prospects and things. And that's the thing. When we get to July and August and September and teams are just run down, I think you guys are just going to be stacking wins sky high and really working for home field advantage in the playoffs if everything goes okay. Can't take a lot of injuries, but you guys have a lot of depth. And I think the Cardinals are just happy to be at the party right now, and we'll just see what happens. I think we got a good future coming up, but right now man, I'm big on the Cubs. They're such a good team, you know. So even when you lost games, you were in them and you gave everybody a good fight. And you played the best teams in baseball so far. We've only played a few of the really good ones. So things are bright in Chicago. It's going to be a fun year.
Yeah, I hope we did what we needed to do in that very tough stretch. I hope we just start piling on victories. I hope against the Marlins and the White Sox, we, get 4 or 5 wins this week, because that's what good teams do. They stack victories against the poor teams. So if we stay the course and we continue to grind out at bats and hit the way we have, we should do very well against these teams. But it's baseball. You never know what's going to happen.
That's the beauty of it, Vince. You never know.
There's one guy that knows what's going to happen. Just
he
one.
knows everything. That Jeremy Connor.
Connor knows everything. So, comes a time in every man's life when he needs some advice on relationships. You need to listen to the podcast DMDR, which stands for Dating, Marriage, Divorce, Remarriage, from my good friend Jeremy Connor, the Dr. Phil of the Boot Hill. You can find DMDR on Spotify or whatever platform you choose to listen to your podcast. JJ and I decided we were going to talk about the movie Major League. And I forgot, I do have the Ricky Vaughn Cleveland uniform, but I forgot to wear it. Look at this. This is this screams old man shirt. It does. But anyway, Major League came out in 1989. JJ, what were you doing in 1989?
1989, I was in the Navy. I was probably stationed in Seattle, Washington at the time. That's where I was, going to the Mariners games.
Did you go to the theater to see Major League?
No, I didn't. I waited for it to come in. Back then, probably people don't realize this. Every street corner, every gas station, every supermarket, you could rent VHS tapes. And I just would go out on the weekend and get 2 or 3 tapes and return them on Monday and catch up. So that's probably where I seen Major Leagues right there, is on some VHS tape somewhere.
Well, the movie, let me go down with the cast of notable people. Listen to this. The people that were in this movie: Tom Berenger, who in his day was one of the top people in Hollywood. Charlie Sheen, before he became Weird Charlie Sheen, was in this movie.
Tiger Blood Charlie Sheen.
Yeah. By the way, I did read when I was doing some research, Charlie Sheen actually spent 2 months doing steroids before this movie. He was a pitcher in high school and was actually a pretty good pitcher. But he wanted to be at a peak athletic looking form. And that's why when you watch Charlie Sheen pitch, he looks like a pitcher. And the information I read, that during the movie, his fastball would top out at 88. I mean, Kyle Hendricks would kill for that. So,
yeah.
Corbin Burnsen's in the movie. Margaret Whitten, she plays the team owner, Rachel Phelps. Her rich husband died, and she inherited the Indians at the time. And her plan, they hadn't won forever. Her plan was to tank them purposefully so that they would finish last, so that they would relocate in Miami, because at the time there was no Miami Marlins. That's what she wanted to do. So she put together this terrible team. She's the complete antagonist in this movie. Wesley Snipes plays Willie Mays Hayes. First row, I do remember him being in it. And then actor Dennis Ridesburg, who has been in bit pieces and a lot of different stuff. You would know him as a character actor, but he plays Pedro Serrano, the voodoo player.
Joe Boone.
Big guy, yeah. Jamie Gammon plays Lou, the manager of the team, and that's another character actor. I kind of call him a poor man's Sam Elliott. A mustache and a long drawl, talks slow. But he's the manager of the team. Rene Russo is in this movie as the love interest of Tom Berenger. Bob Euchre is in this movie, hilarious. Steve Yeager plays the third base coach for the Indians, and Pete Vukovich has quite a few minutes in this movie playing the first baseman of the Yankees. And the movie came out and it grossed 50 million in the United States and Canada and 25 million internationally for a worldwide take of 75 million for a movie that came out almost 40 years ago. Pretty good. So it was a hit. It opened at number one. The premise behind the movie, I've already explained. She wants the team to tank so that she can relocate to Miami. So she puts together a combination of old players and players that nobody has heard of. Willie Mays Hayes, nobody had heard of him. And the Charlie Sheen character had been in prison and he was pitching for the prison team. So there is the catcher, Tom Berenger. His character is almost like a career backup catcher. He doesn't make much money, and he's their starting catcher. They have one star on the team, Tom Berenger's character, Roger Dorn, and he just wants out of Cleveland, so he's just kind of going through the motions until the very end. And true to form for a sports movie, this underdog team starts putting it together and starts putting it together. And then by the end of the season, they beat the Yankees and they win the division. And, kind of her plan blew up. And obviously they stayed in Cleveland. They're still there. Oh, wait a minute. That's just a movie. So, JJ, I've explained the movie. Your thoughts on the movie?
It's one of those movies, Vince, that you watch, I'd say like every 2 or 3 years. And it's good for the soul. It's not going to change your way of thinking or, broaden your horizons, but it's a good, fun movie. There's a few scenes, but for the most part, I think it's a family movie. It's neat at the beginning. I mean, it's all the stereotypes of a bad team. They got no fans except the true diehards, and even they've sort of given up on the team. You got a team of misfits, and they're terrible. They find different ways to lose. You got the prima donna. You got the kid that just thinks he's the Wesley Snipes character. I don't know if you know this. The old pitcher who had grease, he had grease everywhere on his body, on his chest, and under his nose and everywhere. He's actually been up to the card show at Rebus Barracks and signed autographs in his Cleveland outfit. He'll sign as the actor, which is pretty cool.
Okay. I didn't mention him, and I don't remember the actor's name. And the reason I didn't mention him, I've seen a lot of baseball movies, and he's pitching. He is the most unathletic looking. I thought, how did you get this role, man? You're supposed to be a pitcher, and you're, oh my gosh.
Yeah, he was the old guy. Might have been good in his heyday, but he's just a junk pitcher now. So they had every stereotype, and then you had the owner who sort of got the team and doesn't really give a darn about it, and they're not giving him any talent. And so they put glasses on Charlie Sheen, and all of a sudden he can see where he's throwing, and they used them, and the team sort of comes together, and they start winning, and it's them versus the owner. And, of course, Corbin Burnson, there's a love story in there where Rene Russo's with someone else, or they're sort of having some sort of relationship, but she really loves Corbin Burnson. And of course, you want to, yeah. Oh, that's right. And you're pulling for him to get the girl, and it's good. I don't think they filmed this movie in Cleveland. I think they filmed it somewhere else, didn't they?
Yeah.
They filmed it at a different ballpark. And I tell you what, the thing that blew me away more than anything is Pete Vukovich did a great job in this. I knew it was Vuk. He played for the Cardinals at one time. And when he's next to those actors, you could believe he's a big power hitter. You know, he's just bigger than all the rest of them. And it's just a fun movie. I recommend it if no one's seen it. But it's just sort of like it's a love letter to baseball, really. A bunch of misfits, and they somehow come together. And of course, some of it's a little hard to believe, but it's fun. And I recommend it. And that's really, and Bob Uecker, really, I think they just let Bob Uecker, they had like, well, the movie's kind of come to us. It's a lull. You just get up there and start commentating, and he's drinking whiskey, he's putting it behind his ears. He's the only commentator and person carrying for the Indian or the Cleveland team, and the other teams have like a ton of people in their box office giving them a skunk eye, you know, and Euchre's giving them trouble and stuff like that. Fun movie, Vince, and I absolutely loved it. You know, probably if I was grading movies, it's probably a 6 out of 10. But it's just fun to put on and kind of bring back the memories and things like that. I really think it's that kind of movie. There's a lot of movies I have in my collection are just Galaxy Quest. That's one I watch routinely every year, every 2 years. Just love that movie. So it's just one of those movies that I play all the time, every once in a while.
It's the ultimate popcorn movie for a baseball fan, and
Yeah.
it works. The Corbin Burnson, his wife, who sees him on TV cavorting with another woman, she gets back with him by sleeping with Charlie Sheen, who didn't know that it was Corbin Burnson's wife until after the coitus had taken place, and she said, you know, and so you had that. There's a lot of little sub stories going on. Not all of them go anywhere. A lot of them don't go anywhere, but it's just kind of fun. And there are some things that I think the most memorable thing is when they do the American Express commercial. That is so good.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, and there's, yeah, if they did a remake, it would be you're not going to remake the movie in today's day and age and make fun of the voodoo guy, the guy with a different religion. You don't do that anymore. But I enjoy it when I watch it. It's nothing that I like. Hey, Major League's on. I gotta watch that. But it's a pretty good popcorn movie. So and it was a hit. So and it was a part of my. I remember when it came out, my ex-wife was in the hospital because she had her gallbladder taken out, and some people came in to visit us, and then they said, "Oh, we got to leave. We're going to go see Major League." I want to go see Major League with you. I can't leave my wife there. I should have.
What would you give it out of 10, Vince? What's the offer meter? What do you give it?
A 6, I think, is good for it. Yeah, it's something that you can sit down and enjoy and have a few laughs and kind of make fun of the game a little bit. It's pretty cool. Oh, JJ, I have the 1990 edition, the collector's choice. It says I can win the best 1991 season tickets to a stadium of my choice. I'm pumped. I think I'm going to win this.
Okay. Well, I'm pulling for you. Vince, I got the baseball fold-outs. I still have a couple of these. They're from 1983, the baseball fold-outs. And like I said, it was the first time I've ever seen them. There's 17 photos in here. So technically 17 picture cards. You can get autographed or whatever you want to. And these are from 1983, the 17 top home run leaders. So it's all the home run hitters from 1983.
All right. I'll go ahead and I'll rip these bad boys open and I'm gonna say 9 Hall of Famers.
Whoa! I'm going 1. I'm playing it safe, Vince.
My gosh, first one, Hall of Famers, Chicago Cubs, Jerome Walton.
Oh, yeah.
there's one. Awesome.
I always thought he had like one great year. Didn't he have like one?
Oh, he had a Hall of Fame career. I just told you.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh my gosh. Hall of Famer for the Yankees and Padres, Mike Pagliarulo.
Oh, yes.
Hall of
He was
Famer.
a first ballot.
My third Hall of Famer for the Guardians, then the Indians, pitcher Rich Yet.
Whoa. The Rich Yet?
Yes. Oh my gosh, this guy made the Hall of Fame, but his brother was just an average player. I got Chris Gwynn for the Dodgers.
Chris Gwynn.
Uh,
Yeah.
For the Orioles, not the Jose Batista, another Jose Batista.
Oh, okay. All right.
The pitcher that's in the Hall of Fame.
I like that picture.
Luis Salazar. I'm sure he's in a Hall of Fame somewhere too. So,
The Dominican Republic Hall of Fame.
yeah. Hall of Famer Jim Traber in his middle school Hall of Fame. Awesome. For the Tigers, Kenny Williams. I do not remember this guy.
I don't either. Vince.
I remember seeing him at Cooperstown when I went to the Hall of Fame. That's where I've seen him before.
Was he parking cars?
Oh my gosh. This is awesome. I actually got two of these foil holograms. You usually only get one. This is the Mariners.
Oh, very nice. I see the M on the baseball. Yeah.
And oh my gosh, the White Sox. I loved this logo when I was growing up.
Me too.
Awesome.
Too. Carlton Fisk. I think of Carlton Fisk when I see that.
Great second baseman for the Astros, the flying Bill Doran.
Oh, yeah. I always thought he was, a pretty good player. Real pretty good player.
Yep. Leaped all the way into the Hall of Fame. Oh, the guy with one of the greatest Chris Berman nickname, Odabe McDowell. He said, Odabe, young again McDowell.
How to be young again. That is a classic.
This guy was disgusting. Kevin Gross.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Kevin Gross.
He didn't pick up after himself.
Oh my gosh. Look. I got two Kevin Grosses. Roast me out. Yes. For the Rangers, Gary Melky. I do not remember this guy at all.
Yeah. He went in the witness protection program.
Not to be confused with the Mulkey brothers of WCW fame.
Multi-mania.
Yeah. Was it Randy and who was the other one? Chris? I don't know.
They look just alike. I couldn't tell them apart.
Very good pitcher for the Blue Jays, Dwayne Ward, sporting that mustache from 1990. Awesome.
Yeah, he was a reliever, I believe.
Yes. And Hall of Fame. I got no Hall of Famers, okay. But former All-Star Terry Steinbach once won an MVP of an All-Star game.
Oh, yes.
Caught for those great Oakland A's teams of the late 80s, early 90s.
Oh, yes.
What you got? That's all I got.
All right. Here's mine. And remember, this is 1983. So sometimes players are on teams, but look at this. The first one I got, and this is California Angels, Reggie Jackson. There you go. Reggie with those. Yes, Hall of Famer. All right. Now remember, these are the home run hitters. This guy, I don't think of him with this team, but he was Ron Say.
Yeah, I played about 4 years with the Cubs.
Was he there for that long?
Yeah, he was on the 84 team. And I think he got there in 82 or 83. And then he stuck around until about 86. Funny story. My dad used to complain that, Say would dive over balls that would roll under his belly, dive for a ball and it'd roll under his belly. And that was kind of true. He had a great arm for a third baseman. But so I'm on a date at a Cardinal Cub game and Say's up the bat. And I just offhanded comment, tell my date, his days are numbered. So she felt sorry for him, and he became her favorite player.
Oh, the Penguin. Great nickname, the Penguin.
Yeah.
I like that one. Francisco Giant. Again, I think of him on another team. Darrell Evans with San Francisco. I think of him as Atlanta Brave, to be honest with you. All right, let me open these up. The next one, Hall of Famer. Any thoughts on him, Mr. Jim Rice?
Oh, yeah.
Now, Fred Lynn came out of the chute a little faster, but Rice had a longer, better career, I believe, than Lynn, and they were both fantastic. Man, the Red Sox always having terrific hitters. Well, here he is with Phillies. A lot of people didn't know he played with Philadelphia, but Joe Morgan.
Yeah.
What a player. One of the best second basemen. Sandberg, Morgan. I don't know. Morgan and Sandberg, two of the best second basemen I've ever seen. The New York Yankee, Bobby Mercer.
Former Cub also.
You know, I think the Yankees thought he was going to be the next guy to carry the torch, you know, as the great Yankee players. Oh, my gosh. Vince, I remember when I went to Toronto in 1979 and went to Exhibition Stadium, it was the White Sox and the Blue Jays playing, and it said they had a marquee, and it said, "Come see the White Sox play this guy and the Toronto Blue Jays, John Mayberry."
Oh,
John Mayberry. Yeah. I'll always think about him on that marquee back then. Let's see. Oh, and you know the Canadian name they called him, but he was with the Mets at the time. Mark, this is for you. The one and only Rusty Staub.
my Grand Orange. Yes.
See, you got that, man. You got that. I don't have that kind of thing. Oh, I think he's one of the two best catchers ever. Cincinnati Red, Johnny Bench. One of the all-time great Johnny Benches. And another great player, spent his whole career on his team, Carl Yastrzemski, Triple Crown winner right there. One of the all-time greats.
Grandfather of Mike.
Oh, that's right. You know, he turned into a really good player. These are a couple of Phillies here. One, probably the best hitting third baseman ever, Mike Schmidt.
No, awesome.
Yeah. Killer himself. And a player that I can't believe Cincinnati traded, but this year he happened to be with the Phillies, Tony Perez. Tony Perez, a very good player, and I can't believe the Reds got rid of him. Hang on, this thing folds out to $1 million. Oh, Vince, get ready. This is one of your all-time favorite players. He's not with the Cubs here, but New York Met Dave Kingman.
Just the guy.
King Kong Kingman. That guy put fear in everybody. Third baseman. Did he play with the Cubs? Craig Nettles?
No.
Nettles? No, he never played with the Cubs. All right. Craig Nettles. I just remember him in the World Series stealing hits that were going down the line. I'm folding this out to see if I missed anybody. Got two left. One is in the Big Red Machine, but he's with the Mets there, George Foster.
There you go.
And then the Bull, Greg Ledzinski. Yeah, there he is with the White Sox though, and that it had that logo you liked back then, with the batter, with the thing and the socks on there. So Vince, that's it. That's the fold out thing right there, and I got that. I kind of like those. I wouldn't want every pack to be like that, but that's kind of cool. Remember the 1983 season?
You know what I would do with that?
What's that?
I would take it and make it the border around the top of my walls. I
love that.
All those. Yeah. That would be cool.
You know, I got to see you soon. I got a belt for you. I think I got a couple things for you.
I got a few things for you too, that are collecting dust right now. But yeah, I'm having a hard time getting out anywhere. So
I understand.
So like this week, I got my grandson for the weekend. So
okay.
Yeah, it won't be. That's labor intensive.
Yeah.
When you're a young father, and I was a father for the first time when I was 24, you get off work, you go play with your kids, put the kids to bed, then you stay up till midnight because you have all this energy. And then when you're 58 and the grandson comes over, after about 10 minutes, you're like, my
Oh man.
my cousin, my cousin Mark, who was on the show a few years ago, his older brother John, um, they adopted a, I think it was grandchild of theirs, um, and I'm 50. John's got to be in his mid 60s, late 60s. But man, their son just graduated from Rankin, I think.
Oh,
But they were they took him on older in life, and wow, that's
yeah.
good luck. See, I like it when my kids come over and visit now, and they watch me fall asleep in the recliner, and yeah,
Yeah, that was the old people when we were young. Vince, I'm 61. I still don't have grandkids. I didn't get married till I was 32 and didn't have, I don't think we had our first kid till I was 35. So I was an old dad. And, going to graduation, it's all these, young parents. And then people think me and Faith are the grandparents to these kids, We're the old parents.
well, it's not like I gave birth, but Violet was born when I was 38. So,
Okay.
um, but fortunately for me, my most labor intensive child was my first one when I was younger and had all the energy. Um, Evelyn, Max, and Violet, I swear I could have just Velcroed them to the wall and left for work and they'd have been fine. They were just so laid back. So it was pretty easy. So, well, JJ, I hope you have a good week.
You
And I
too,
hope
sir.
the Cardinals continue to entertain and get the people attracted with some victories and good luck. So,
Okay.
and we
It's
don't
going
have
to be fun.
we don't have a ton of viewers and listeners, but you can tell that the majority are Cardinal fans because when the Cardinals don't do good, you see the viewership go down. And then when the Cardinals start, things kind of rise. So I'm kind of
Oh,
keep.
yeah. Oh,
Uh,
yeah.
but I'm like that. Cubs had a bad streak. I don't listen to media. I don't read anything. I just let the bad streak get over. Good things will start happening. Then I can get happy again. So. All right, JJ. Well, you take care. Okay.
Vince, you take care, and all you guys have a good week out there.
Yes, everybody.